right, welcome back everyone to an exciting episode of Geckoverse. So today we have a dynamic duo of guests joining us. We're going to be bringing on Vanessa with Sacred Hearts Leopard Geckos and Riys with House of Reps. So if you guys will help me welcome both of them to the show, we're going to go ahead and bring them on screen.
How is everybody doing today?
Good.
Good. How about you?
Good, sir.
I'm doing okay. I'm doing all right. I think it's been like 2 weeks since we've had a live, right? Did we go last week? I don't remember. It's been
No, I think it's been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Has it been?
Yeah.
So people probably have noticed that we had a last minute cancellation. I don't have any details as to what's going on. I just know that it was familial related. So basically, last minute we had Vanessa hop on and bail us out. Give us that second guest. So I'm extremely grateful to you. Thank you for doing that. And
Thank you
Vanessa.
letting me join you guys.
No problem.
I'm glad to have another girl around.
Right?
yeah, then Riys,
I
thank
was
you
like,
for
I thought I
finding
was
her.
enough.
What was that, Riys?
I thought it was
You
enough
thought you were
girl
enough?
around here. But yeah, no, I appreciate you, Vanessa. I know it was last minute when I hit you up, but yeah, I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So that being said, I wanted to go into a couple of things. Introductions. Vanessa, Riys has been on the podcast before, so I'm going to go ahead and start with you. If it's all the same. How long have you been breeding?
This is my third full season.
Third full season?
Yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome. So what got you into leopard geckos? Like, what was the launch, the catalyst of it?
Actually, it was my son. He had a bearded dragon for 7-8 years, and it passed away. And we went to our little local reptile store and picked up a couple geckos, and he wanted to try it. And so I just started getting, a better stock, obviously. But that's kind of where it started.
I kind of always wonder, you have a leopard gecko and then you end up with two. Next thing you know, you're a breeder. And how did they do that to us? Like, how do they talk you into it? And
It's a setup.
I know. You end up with all these racks, and out of nowhere, you're like part of this whole community.
Oh yeah.
It's his fault, and now he don't want nothing to do with it. Nope, I'm not feeding him. I don't want no part of it.
I was about to ask, does he still breed or help or involve himself at all?
Nah, he looks at the babies and he's like, "Oh, they're cute," and then runs away.
How old is he, Vanessa?
13.
13. Okay. So my daughter did the same to us. So she got us started. Yeah.
Yeah. You have a similar situation, Jen, where your son's, he's got to be right around that age, 14, right? And he has a beardy, I think.
He's got a beardy. He's got a couple leopard geckos. He helps on occasion down here, but he's not the one that got us started.
So
my daughter will help.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's 11. She'll get in there and get dirty. Him, forget it.
Nice.
Yeah, mine actually doesn't have a choice. I want her to learn, and she doesn't have to keep animals when she gets older, but she definitely helps. It's not like I'm forcing her to, though. Lennon's 6, and she's almost 7, but she loves it.
Yeah, she's a little cutie.
Yeah,
she is over there. She's my bud.
So there's always like a, almost an origin story, but then kind of a transition into what you end up working with and loving. And we invest a lot of our own time and earnings into this hobby eventually, especially if you're going to be on as a breeder, permanently.
Right.
I would say, what sort of projects do you work with, and what are your favorites, and how has that evolved over the last 3 years?
So when I first started out, I made the mistake in buying like lower ended. Oh, let's just get this $100 animal.
Yeah,
didn't really do too much for us. They were just kind of it was fun to watch, and then I ended up selling all that stock out and buying higher ended stuff, and really liking the high contrast, the tangerines. Next year I'll be working with the Black Knight. Thank you, Joe.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, you picked up a Black Knight. I actually had the privilege of shaking hands with you when I went to the Pomona show, which was really cool.
Yeah.
It's funny, when I got there, I was on my way out, and by the time I got to Indio, I started getting sick. And so my cousin Mike, he goes to another country that is south of us, and he gets a lot of medicines, not the narcotic kind.
Right.
And he brings them back all the time for the family. And so when I got there, the first thing it was like, "Hey, Mike, I don't know what I have. I hope it's viral. Give me antibiotics, or that it's not viral. Give me antibiotics." He did, and I was like, the day I met you, I was kind of stand backish and shaking
Yeah.
hands, sanitizing them, and walking through and trying to keep moving. And I felt good. So when you were there at the Pomona show, did anything exciting happen at your table, or anything worth noting?
Lots of kids. I really enjoy the kids. And even adults. The first time that, I've never held it. I don't want to hold it. Just try it. And a lot of them ended up coming back and buying animals from me.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
I said, go walk around, check it out. They said that a lot of people don't allow them to interact with them, which I find kind of strange. If you're going to buy an animal and, it's a lifelong commitment, you've got to make sure the two get along.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah.
I know Reese has a similar situation, but it's at work. His is different, where you actually don't let the kids touch the animals. Is that right?
Yeah, out of your mind. That's all I do.
I'm like,
That's
wait a
all I
minute.
do is
Do
let
they
kids
pet the
touch
animals?
animals. They hold them, pet them. I
Yeah.
put them on their neck, put them on their head.
Okay.
Like we just hang out. Only the birthday kids I let them put on their head and stuff like that. But like,
Oh,
yeah,
that's what
everybody,
you're saying. Okay, the birthday.
everybody,
He does
yeah,
petting zoo
he'll,
type parties, right?
but I just did one before I came here. I just had one this morning.
Did you?
Yeah. So
I've seen his
no,
collection.
I let them hold and chill with them, stuff like that. So no,
So
it's
when you
all
do
about letting them
shows
pet.
and like birthday parties, schools, things like that,
Hmm.
you have a lot of stories of things that happen where the teachers overreact, or the kids overreact, or even underreact sometimes. What sort of thing would you say, like when you're there hosting and teaching, what do you not like the most? I would say about when you're there. What kind of thing is not good?
Well, I mean, just a bad audience is not good. You know what I mean? So, like, if you got kids running around, not paying attention, they're being rude, disrespectful, that's what I don't like. But interaction wise, like, there's always at least two kids hiding behind a teacher that want nothing to do with it. The teacher's like, no, 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 no. And I'm like, just give me a minute. I let them try. I'll talk them into it. Like, hey, it's just a tail. I got the head way over here, away from you, and I just make
Yeah.
little jokes with them, and then they'll end up petting. So I get them to come around sometimes. Or what's weird, they always don't want to pet the small stuff. Then when I bring out the giant snake, then everybody wants to pet. They lose all their fear with a 10-foot snake, and then they want to pet. It's kind of weird. But
I don't want to touch that 2-inch turtle, but you got this
yeah,
With
giant
that
snake
6-foot
over
snake,
here.
I'm all about it.
yeah. All of a sudden the fear is gone, and no,
Uh-oh.
Oh, we
That's
just
good.
lost Reese. And he's got quite the collection. I was able to take a look at what he takes to the shows the last time I was over at his house. And I mean, it would be fun. If my kids were little, I would love to do a birthday party like that or some kind of event.
Right?
And he'll be back on in a minute. It happens every now and then when you use your phone, but
Yeah, that's
let's
what you
see.
said last night. I think my video would have been clearer on my phone.
Yeah, I know. You could see how clear Reese's is coming in. So Reese's, is that how you say that? Reese's, Reese. No, sorry. Let's see here. Sorry, I hurt my back. I'm like having trouble sitting in this chair. Um, so you're a part of this hobby now. You've been for 3 seasons breeding.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, do you have prior reptile experience, or is this pretty much your entry to it? Your intro.
This is it. But I have been working in like dog and cats for 18 years. I'm a vet tech.
Okay, I was going to say, I think a few months back, because when I get to know people, or you grabbed up an animal from me, so I creeped all over your face, but I wanted to know who you were. I already was following you, but I wanted to know who you were and
Yeah.
what you. I saw that you worked with animals already. I
Yeah.
just but mammals, not reptiles.
Right.
That's cool. How do you? Is that what you do full time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you think that allows you an interesting leg up on the rest of us, that you are a veterinarian tech, or?
Yes and no, because they're the same, but they're different.
Okay.
Our doctors don't specialize in reptiles at all. So
Okay.
when I had one get sick, I had to take it to a totally different reptile vet because we just strictly do dogs and cats. We just hired a new doctor who does do reptiles, who came from Australia. So I'm interested to see if she's, able to help me out in the future if need be.
That'd be cool. Probably save you some money too.
Yeah, because it ain't cheap.
So what sort of things in the hobby would you say that, when you've been around long enough to where you've noticed the ins and outs of the hobby, the different breeders, the tensions sometimes, and then also the way that people conduct themselves. What sort of things would you say are your favorite about the hobby as a collective and with you being a part of it?
Definitely being upfront and honest about what you have and what you're breeding, is very important, because you don't want to get something into your collection and it not be what you're supposed to have, or it pops something out that you were told it shouldn't. I personally haven't had that issue yet, but I've heard people warn me, oh, you got from so-and-so, and be careful with that breeder. And I've dealt with that breeder in the past and never had a problem. So I kind of keep my own opinions based off of what I feel and not what everybody else feels.
Yeah. No, I'm similar in that. When I'm testing animals and I pop something out, I'm never disappointed because I love leopard geckos. So for me, it's just they're on. Like they're mine now. Oh, this one wasn't supposed to have MP. Now it does. Now I know it's there. So I don't necessarily always dive right off and say, oh, I'm going to get rid of this animal. I try to apply it to what I have in any direction I can. And if not, I'll list it for, a pet price in a sense. But I always, at minimum, disclose what I'm selling.
Right.
There are a lot. The other thing that I will do, though, I will be honest, is I will take that breeder's name and stick them on a list. And I also go to, just to help myself out so I don't forget, I'll go to Morph Market right away, look up their store and block it. And it's only because, it's nothing personal. It's just I don't want surprises like that if I'm trying hard and spending money.
Right.
If I spent $200 and popped out something, I'm not going to do the whole block them on Morph Market thing because it was a $200 animal. Of course, it's just a pet, right?
Right.
But what about go ahead, Riys.
I had a question I was going to ask earlier. How long did you work with those beginner geckos before you swapped out for the higher end stuff?
1 season, and it wasn't worth it.
I feel you. I did the same thing.
You cut off. Yeah, it was 1 season, and I tell people when they come up to the table, oh, we want to breed. And I said, don't make the mistake I did. Don't buy low end stuff. It's just not gonna work.
Not always. I mean, not always, because I be having some high end stuff that I sell for dumb cheap at a show. It's just because I don't really care sometimes. Yeah. So you can get a good deal for cheap. You just got to know which breeder you're talking to.
Yep. I ended up letting my whole white and yellow collection go this year. It just didn't do anything for me. Second season.
So you don't like white and yellow?
I do a lot of white and yellow red diamond.
Okay.
But my pure white and yellow line, I just kind of sold the mom out and just keeping my red diamond white and yellow line.
Yeah, it's
what do you like about the white and yellow?
How they hold a lot of that silver when you cross them back with the diamonds.
So that's something I never seen or heard about that. Okay.
So a lot of mine, I don't know. You follow my page, you see
I do.
them coming out. They're all nice and pink.
They are.
I gotta go take a look at that. Actually, let's do that. White and yellows is one that I've never wanted to be a part of. I don't know why, but I like to work with the recessives more.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I've been doing for a while now is just seeing what I can do with them, and it's funny. We have these statistics and we write them down. You have your 66%. And then you have the people that you talk to and you realize I don't really think they know what they're saying. But I remember having a conversation with somebody recently about genetics and the difference between white and yellow being dominant, and some people think it's incomplete dominant, which I don't even have an opinion on that. I actually personally don't care. Do you guys have an opinion on that one?
I think it's dominant.
Me too. Yeah.
Oh, you didn't have an opinion, sir?
Oh, no. I don't have one that's worth noting. You know what I mean? Just because my daughter does work with white and yellows, though, and she does really well with them. There's a couple of other.
I like what they do. I
think it's maybe hit or miss. Maybe it was just a bad year, but I ended up having like 9 left over from last season. And I was like, it's kind of a lot for that line.
9 out of what?
I think she gave me 12. So I sold only 4 out of her.
Well, I mean, for the whole season, like,
I just sold my last set when we went to Pomona. I sold 17 from my collection from last year,
nice,
and I have
nice.
two or three 2023s. And I
Okay,
Not
ended up
bad.
keeping one.
that's
So
awesome. Yeah, my daughter did produce one this year. I would say two actually. She sold the one. By the time I got my eyes on it, I was like, I want that one. I'll buy it off you. And she said it's already sold, so that one's gone. But then
Mhm.
there was a second one that came out, and I was like, that one's not sold, right, bro? I'm
No,
about
that's funny. You don't even get first dibs.
right, sold. Bye.
What'd you say,
guys,
Dad? Can you drop this off? It's already sold.
so you guys are gonna laugh, but we're selling our house, so we hired a landscape company. So I have somebody keeping up with that, and they just got here. They're supposed to be on
I
Fridays.
heard. I hear him. Yeah, I thought that was
Yeah.
funny.
So in between questions and stuff, I'm probably gonna mute the mic a little bit. But yeah, they apparently decided Saturday was the day. So
Didn't they do that the last time?
yep, yeah, they did.
At least
Vanessa,
they're
what size?
consistent.
What size colony do you work with?
I have about 36 breeders total between males and females, but not all of them were paired out this year.
Yeah,
Okay.
pairing 36 animals is a lot of babies.
Yeah.
So what do you shoot for every year, like breeder wise? Baby wise? Sorry.
Like quantity.
Yeah, how
Or
many do you try to produce? How many?
last year I did 40, so I kind of want to do a little bit more than last year. So I was kind of shooting for 60, and I'm
Me,
about
me, and you
halfway
in the
there.
same boat.
Yeah. My rack is actually full at the moment. I got 2 little slots left and waiting on sea serpents to send me my third rack.
Okay.
Nice.
Um,
Oh, lost it again.
he said nice, and then he left us. Um, your hobby handle. That's what I call them handles. Your name for your pet store. What? How did you come up with it? Is it something that it's where you work now, or is it personal?
No, it's just something that kind of just originally was gonna name it Cupid's Leos. My dog's name is Cupid, but I can already see my husband rolling his eyeballs from across the room over there, and thought, he's gonna be talking some smack. So I thought about something else, and that one ended up just kind of sticking.
Okay.
So
Did the name come from anybody specifically? Um,
no,
oh,
oh
Sorry, we
yeah,
have a
how many?
question.
We don't want to talk about that. Like
yes,
4,
we do. Oh, really?
yeah, and I have 3 coming.
Nice.
Yeah.
All those tubs that look like this on the metal rack are all going to get converted into I don't know if you can see it,
Yeah, I can see it.
into the ones that are in the middle with the gray, because you get more animals in less space, and that's
Yeah.
that's it. That's all I have. That's my working territory over there.
So you
That's
need
it.
a lot more.
You're not
You
alone,
know,
Vanessa. I've been adding two since I
Yep.
moved to Georgia 4 months ago. So
So PayPal's been my best friend.
Yo, you can get sea serpent through PayPal.
You do, and I do a PayPal pay in 4, so I'll buy
Yeah,
a
the
rack,
paying forward. That's what I
pay it
mean.
off, and then do the next one.
Oh, I didn't know
nice.
that.
It's just the
yeah,
turnaround time that sucks. By the time you get one paid off, you're waiting another 4 weeks for a second one.
I mean, that's
yeah.
fine.
But
I got the space and time, but now I know I can get more like that.
yeah,
Nice.
No, I liked your logo. You posted it just a couple weeks ago. Um, where did you get it done at?
some guy ended up reaching out to me on Instagram asking if I wanted a logo, and he made my original logo. And then a little while later, he reached out again and he made that one, so I rebranded because I
I
really
like
liked.
the new one. Yeah,
Yeah,
I do. I like the new one a lot. So people
Yeah.
reach out to me all the time on Instagram, and I always think it's spam. So I
I
don't
worry
answer.
about
Yeah, I
spam.
block them. I block
Mhm.
them all the time.
logo something. He does all sorts of stuff. I have stickers and all sorts of things made from him.
Nice.
35, $40. Sometimes he'll do a 2-for-1 deal, and hey, stickers are always great to hand out.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I know. So vending. How long have you been vending?
So Pomona was my second show in
Was it
June. My
really?
first show was January.
You
So
got
you
2 shows
just
up
started?
on me. So
Oh, really?
yeah, I've never vended before. I've been to
Oh,
shows, tons of shows, but I've never vended.
well,
It's fun, dude.
quick way to try to release some animals. I mean, you're not going to sell a whole lot of high-ended stuff because people going in there are looking for more like pet quality, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Okay.
You know, the kids come in, they enjoy it, they hold them, they come back and they buy, you know, hey, where's that one that I was holding earlier? Oh, she's right here.
Hmm.
So
Jen actually came in with me and hung out when I vended.
Yeah, so I technically didn't vend, but I spent the day with him, so I got a good idea of what to expect. My first show is next weekend, so.
oh, there you
Yeah.
go. Do you
So
have
now she
a
knows how to yell at people. Hey, come here, come here. Hey, come here, come here.
wait? So my technique, the first show, I did 9 like the whole weekend. Didn't really do a whole lot. But this last one, every animal I had in my hand, I sold off of my hand.
Nice.
Nice.
Here, hold it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hold it. Hold
Yep. The
it.
old hold it. She knows. I used to. Did you want to hold him? And they're like,
No.
no. I know if I hold it, I will take it. I'm like, yeah,
Yep.
that's the point. Let me get
Here,
Yeah.
that hand real
take
quick.
it. Yep. So that's what worked best for me this last weekend. So I'm hoping it works again.
Yeah. Now you and Jen are both vending next weekend. Reese, are you going to be?
No, I technically could. My license expires like 3 days after, so I technically could. I have an offer and a table, but I'm not. I'm gonna just chill, hang out, buy some more racks, and go home.
The PayPal's coming your way, huh?
Hmm.
I have
Now,
to answer Steven's question.
yeah. Let's do it.
Unfortunately, Steven, I should
I
have
paid
tried,
her
but I
in
didn't.
Trident layers. I paid her in Trident layers, okay? And I babysat for her so she can buy stuff.
Babysat. My daughter's 16. She entertained you. She allowed you the opportunity to go
That,
break dance on the stage. So,
What? I entertained her, okay? I entertained everybody because that show was very slow.
hmm
all right. So if I was going to say, I'm going to be setting up, but I was going to wait until I get to Missouri to do it because I obviously want to establish myself out there. Um, tablecloths and things like that. Like there's so many different options. I don't know where to grab one from, and I kind of wanted to get them ahead of time, but and then
I
somebody
got
told me
all
the other day
mine.
just to go to Vistaprint. Where'd you get yours?
I just bought off of Amazon. I didn't logo my tablecloths, and I just bought the trades. They're like trade show tablecloths, and they tuck underneath the legs, and they're tight.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I just
mine
went
too.
with
Oh,
a bright color.
Yeah,
that's
like
what I
15
have as
bucks.
well.
Yeah, and then I
that's
just put
awesome.
my banner behind it, like up
Yep.
at
I
the
feel
top.
like that's a better idea, anyways, because they provide the table, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Hmm.
Okay.
And
Right
then you
on.
just wash them up, and you don't have to worry about your logo peeling off or anything happening to it.
So,
I,
speaking of Vanessa, because that was a question I had too. You don't logo yours. How did you think about using a table runner? Because I also have those same tablecloths when I used to do different vending for different type of business, and I was thinking of doing just like a runner and putting my logo on that, so it just kind of goes down the middle of the table. Have you thought about doing something like that?
I keep my table pretty decorative. I have a display case and then another little like tray, which will be replaced with the display case later, and then just
Mhm.
kind of some bright lights. I do like the
Okay,
little battery operated lights. You can find it on my Instagram page.
I'll go take a
A
look.
lot
Yeah.
of
Yeah, it's
people
pretty
come
nice
over.
setup. I think I shared it when you posted
Yeah,
yeah.
last
you
time.
I'll
did.
go check it out. Yeah, I just have seen where they have them when you go and look at the banners and different things for trade shows. They have them where they just hang over the front and you just see the logo
Yeah.
on the front part. So something I
I
was
think that's a good
considering.
idea.
Yeah, because
Maybe over
mine
the
are just
front.
solid black.
Yeah, maybe like over the front of the table
Yeah,
rather than down the middle. That would probably work good.
yeah, that's what I was seeing. So I'm playing with some ideas.
Hmm.
I just wrote that one down, Jen. That's actually a really good idea. Because then,
Yep.
like Vanessa said, you could wash your tablecloth and you don't have to worry about your
Mhm.
logo.
Because
Yep.
it's literally just a runner, the ones I'm referring to, and it's
Yeah.
just down the front part. So it's like the center of your table,
Yep.
and you see your logo. And it's not
Yeah.
on the tablecloth. So
I want one of those PVC banners, the ones behind you where you
Yeah,
stretch
behind you, the big
over
one.
and it's nice and tight. Like I think I'm gonna
Yeah.
get one of those. So I already bought some table lights. I have set up a thing with Clint. I don't know if you guys know Clint out here in Arizona. He lives in Cottonwood.
we do know Clint.
Yep.
He's already sent me a ton of reptile related jewelry that he makes. And I have it all saved and ready to go out on my table. I even got like a little stand for it so you can hang things from it.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Nice.
want to get a couple of decorative pieces and then also lay them out on that. So I've got some ideas, but yeah, he makes some really cool stuff too.
Clint Beadwood.
I've got that ready to go. It's just the move. I didn't realize we were moving, and so I was going to vend in October, and now I was like, I need to move first.
Pushing
So
it back.
I
Moving
think
is real
2025 is going to be the year I start hitting up, because the cool thing about Missouri is I'll be able to travel all around, So
Yeah.
kind of excited about that. And then I started building racks recently. I've got a couple of designs up. I just need to get photographs of them. So pretty excited about that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Trying to see those.
I know they're not ready. Like when you're an artist and you're painting,
They're
and they're like,
never ready.
thing.
Can't see it yet. It's not done.
But yeah, no, I've got a really nice 18 chord I'm working with. I'm hoping to release it by 2025. So, let's see. Yeah, Reese,
Yes,
when's
sir.
your next show, man? When do you have any animals for shows right now, or are you just out?
Are you talking about for expos?
Yeah.
I have 90 some babies, but
Jeez.
no, I'm just chilling. I just wanted this year to recoup so I can like get all my supplies and stuff, like make sure I have stickers ready, new merch or stuff to give out because I'm always running out every show and have to re-up before every show. So I just wanted a better setup. I also wanted to take my time and let everybody grow out and observe and see who's really going to stay, who's going to go before I just sling out some babies. So I sold everything from last season already. So I'm just hanging out on this one. So if I sell them, I sell them. If I don't, I don't. But next year, I'll get back into it and book shows. So
All
this
right.
year, once it expires, I'm gonna just chill.
Cool. Well, I know Jen and I were talking about like meeting at the shows that are kind of in the middle.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Do like
No,
event
I'm
things.
down.
So you should definitely do that. You guys could carpool and split gas,
Yeah.
Yeah, I got
and
plenty of room.
pay for my gas. I mean, um,
But I
so
can also
Vanessa, I
come up
know.
to Missouri too, Joe, and can do some shows while I'm there. I'll have to plan my trip to see my sister, visit
Yeah,
you, and do some shows all in the same time.
yeah. So
See?
Upland, you're in
Brain-
Upland, Vanessa.
Yeah.
Um, have you been to any shows that are not in California?
No, I've been wanting to try to see if there's anything like, within driving distance. I know that Vegas puts one on. I know Arizona does one.
Yeah.
But with my heavy work schedule, I haven't been able to get out that far yet. And I lost him again.
Yeah, as much as I hate to say it like this, whenever I go to the Arizona show, I almost don't. I think it's weak. Like it's just
Is
too
it?
small. Yeah, it's too crowded, too small. I almost feel like they're breaking fire codes, because there's too many bodies in that building. But I mean, I appreciate them letting me in, so I mean, it's good.
Right.
And I will say this: you'll have the line wrapped around the block, so it is popular. And
Right.
even if you are starting in the line around the block, you'll be in that building in 10 minutes. So,
Oh,
and I think it's because they know it's hot out here. This year, Brett, I won't be going to Daytona just because I'm doing a big move. So right now, it's not a good time for me to do that. But that doesn't mean once I'm in Missouri, I won't be going to Daytona every year from now on. So probably just drive down at that point.
Yeah, it's still close enough for me too. So I'm hoping I'm going to make it this year. But
is that a
You
big
want
show
to go
out
out?
that way, or?
It
yeah,
is. Yeah, I made invaluable friendships when I went to Daytona. It's one of those where um, I think I met this girl named Jen. She's all right. I mean, she's
yeah, I'm
cool.
all right. I'm all right.
But no, I don't know if anybody knows. He's been on the show. His name is Josiah. He's from Leo's Only.
He's in the comments, Mr.
Oh, is he?
Josiah. Yeah, he came in and said, "Hey."
Yeah, I met him. I met Matt. Josiah, he's one of my favorite people on the planet. He's just one of those really straightforward, humble guys. Yeah, he's really cool to talk to.
He said
Uh,
nerd. He called you a nerd.
did he really?
And
Nerd.
Brett was there, but
I
I don't
met
know if you
Brett.
already know Brett.
Yeah, Brett. He hates talking on the phone, so I only call him. I like try not to text him if I can help it. So, but yeah, he what do you
In
call it?
those
He's at
shows,
work right
though,
now.
go hang out with him at the shows, though. Brett, you know this is true. He talks up a storm, so it has to just be the phone thing.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, he's a little shy. He's a little shy guy.
When I got to know him at his table, him and his wife were working that table pretty good too. That's pretty awesome. Um,
I love Ivy.
I
She's
met,
awesome.
I met Nick Puppo, which was cool. I like that guy. I didn't. We're not best friends or anything. I'm not saying that, but I did get to shake his hand. Actually, I think Matt introduced me to him, and then I'm trying to think of who else I met while I was there. Jen, you were there. Who did I meet?
Hmm.
Who did we meet?
I don't know because I was working with US Arc, collecting donations with my kiddos, as well as entertaining you and visiting with everybody. So I really don't know all of you met.
Why aren't you listing
It's
that
huge.
comment, Jen?
What?
Um,
Which one?
Poor Reese keeps getting booted. He's on his 2.4. You know what?
Yeah.
I'm
This
going to text
one?
him that in a minute. That one. See?
Okay. Okay. I
That's
was.
my boy. There you go. I just sent him a text over so he can maybe fix that. Nick, aka Santa. All right, so you are going to be going to the Anaheim show. You are vending there.
Yep.
Now, how do they keep it from? Because there's got to be other leopard gecko breeders right around you. I know we got what Malawi, and then you got SC Reptiles.
Mm-hmm.
You got Dogtown right around there. They're going to be in all those shows. I know Leah is going to be there. She's beta geckos.
Yeah, we're doing a nice little trade when we go.
That's yeah. I have a trade with her as well, and I can't make it because of the
Oh,
move and everything.
yeah.
I wanted. I almost am tempted to drive out just
Just
to
to
do
swap
that.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, the animals she set aside for me are pretty amazing. She's also another one of my favorite people. I met her a couple of years back, and we just kind of chat here and there. But yeah, she's vending this time around. She couldn't make it to Pomona,
Yeah.
so
We have an interesting question, Joe, that I
yeah.
just noticed. I don't want to skip over it. Maybe Vanessa might know. I've never heard of this, but Quirky Birdie wants to know if when you do expos and shows, do you have insurance? I've never heard of anybody having insurance for shows.
I do not carry insurance. I'm not sure if they even offer it. January, I did have an animal taken off my table, and you have to take it as a loss.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've heard too across the
Yeah.
board.
What do you mean you had an animal taken off your table?
Well, I didn't have my display rack because it was my first show, and I was a little unprepared to how busy it was. And it literally, we got a swarm of people, and I had an animal out. And when I came home on Sunday, and it was gone,
Oh, stolen.
taken. Yep.
You had an animal stolen. Okay, I didn't. That's another thing. It's so weird to consider that people are going to the reptile shows to pocket an animal, you know, and
It happens a lot though, Joe, from what I've heard.
It happened at the last
Yeah.
show too. Somebody took something off somebody's table before the doors were even open, so that tells you a vendor took it.
well,
For sure.
really,
Yeah. Yeah.
that is
And then
wild.
I vended with Hard Rock. Yeah, see, he was there. I rented with Hard Rock, and I had my animals locked up, and I had my higher ended ones under the table. And he left his in his little rack, and when he came back, there was a cup missing from the top, which again must have been a vendor or a vendor's guest because the doors were locked when we left.
Ooh.
Like no more outside people. So it's sad that other vendors do that to vendors, and with no guilt.
That's pretty sad.
That is wild. That
So I
is
guess
wild.
in Ontario, it says that vendors there need insurance. So maybe it's the difference between the U.S. and
Yeah.
Canada.
They just want that seller's permit.
Yeah.
Vinny
Yep.
says first 10 minutes of the show. Can you elaborate on that, Vinny? Oh, right here. $1,500 snow hognose got snatched from Sykes's table. Wow.
But I
from
think they-
Pomona.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that's someone I heard about, I thought
There was another
figured
one
out
then.
who it was, right?
There was
Yeah.
another animal then that got snatched because that's not the one I heard about.
So that's what
So-
I'm worried about because I don't have a display yet because I want to obviously make sure they go well. So I'm worried, but
So
I'm
I
going to have
gotta-
extra eyes with me. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had three people with us, and it's still.
oh,
it's
wow. It still happened.
Yeah.
Wow. But it would be when none of you were there because it was obviously by a
No,
vendor.
it was during the show. Somebody walked up while we were busy and just took the cup right off the edge of the table.
Yeah. We have a really good question, Jen. I don't know if you wanted
Yeah,
to.
I just saw it. Yeah. So regarding insurance, I mean, this is a good question. What happens if an animal does bite? People want you to pay their hospital bill.
Okay. Um, for me, um, I wouldn't have an animal available to be held at the show. I don't know. Maybe I would. That could be an experience talking. But I know Reese was saying that he lets the kids touch all the animals and stuff like that. That's just something about it. I don't love the idea of that. So it's gangster in Pomona. Joe knows. Yeah, man. What is it? Puro P-Town. I actually grew up 5 minutes away from the show there. If you exit the building and travel down, what is it, White Avenue, make a left on or right on Val Vista, or go west, sorry. Right there over that hill, I lived on the left side of the road. That's where I went to high school, too. I am familiar with the area. Um, what did anything special, weird, out of the ordinary happen besides something coming up missing at the Pomona show?
Nope, just a lot of first time holders. That was pretty awesome having them kids out there and, do you want to hold it? And them going, no. And then they change their mind and then you just see their eyes light up.
Yeah. Well, the reason I ask is I actually shook hands with Jeff Galewood. Pretty sure he has no clue who I am, which is fine. But he was really nice and decent to me. I have animals from him from a long time ago, just because he's such a quality breeder. And Thomas messages me while I'm talking to Steven, and he says, Steven, sorry, SC Reptiles,
Yeah.
Steven Cervantes. He's been on the show as well. And he says, hey, I just got something from Jeff. Would you mind going and picking it up and bringing it back? And I said, is it an animal? I'm going to be here for a few days. Can it survive in whatever he hands it to me? And he goes, no, it's not alive. And I'm like, all right. So I go over to the booth, and Jeff's hands me something that's about this big. And he's like, you're probably going to want to take that to your hotel room. I'm like, and I still have it because Thomas has not come to get it. And I'm not going to open it. It's not very kid friendly, but this is how big this thing is, right? See if I can't get it to move. What this is, it is a huge vagina.
And it's been sitting on your wife's night table, right?
Yeah, just sitting here
Poor
for
Jess.
3 weeks. And I don't know why Jeff had that. I think I looked it up, and it may be something his dad sculpts. But he just hands that to me like, here, walk around with this. So, of course, I had to leave the show. I went back to my hotel room laughing my ass off and put it in the hotel room. And then I went back and thought to myself, like, what happens when the maids, because I was in the hotel right there at the Sheraton, what happens when they come in there?
They find that?
It looks like Reese is in the comments. He's still refreshing. So
No, he's good. He's got to fix his 5G if he's watching. But yeah, so that was interesting for me. Other than that, does everybody know who Amy Benzie is?
I do not.
Okay, Amy Benzie is I'll just say it the way she said it. She's Dave Kaufman's partner. Everybody knows who he is. He's got one of the coolest YouTubes out there. I kept running into her. I guess they were staying at the same hotel I was. And when I first went to the show, I ran into her. Every time I changed buildings, I ran into her. We were just laughing back and forth. I had no clue who she was, so it was just normal, natural reaction. And then she brought up that they were in Suriname. And when you get to Suriname, you can literally go about a little bit in, and you're in the beating heart of the rainforest. And so it's really cool that they do all that. But I actually have been to Suriname probably like 24 times because I used to work in mining, and so I knew a lot about the area and stuff. And I think she was kind of blown away with the fact that anybody even knows where that's at, because no one else is. She said no one's ever been to Suriname, and I'm like, well, I have. And so it was pretty neat talking to her. And then she drops it. Yeah, well, I'm Dave Kaufman's partner, and I think he'd really like to meet you. And so now I'm like, wait a minute, I got a handshake introduction to Dave Kaufman from his partner, and I was super excited about that. And it didn't end up happening. had nothing to do with them. My family got wind of the fact that I was in town, and then my phone and the guilty text wouldn't stop. So I ended up having to leave the show earlier. It was like, you know, when your grandma's like, "I'm not going to make it if you don't show up," and you're like, "All right, so I'm coming." But no, yeah, it was pretty interesting. I spoke with her, and next time they're in Pomona, I'm going to go up and meet him. So I'm pretty excited about that. 17 animals at a show would you consider that a success?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
By what means? Is it, I don't have to do that many tables to clean, or this is what I sought out to do and I hoped to get that many, or?
I just wanted to clear out last year's season, and I pretty much cleared out last year's season. Didn't move too much from this year because they're kind of small still. Just took a handful of them, but it was very busy the second day. The first day I would say was kind of so-so. The second
Okay.
day, Sunday, seemed way busier.
Yeah. And you said you vended next to Hard Rock?
Yeah.
Okay. I remember meeting him, right? I shook hands with him.
Wally, I think so.
Yeah, Wally. Okay. I
Yeah.
remember yep. He was really nice. Do you guys know each other, or?
Yeah, I met him when I bought a couple from him and went to his house and picked him up, and he kind of, gave me some tricks and tips and do's and don'ts when I first started out, and just kind of became friends.
Yeah. You want to share any of those tips and tricks with the rest of us?
I'm pretty sure you guys probably already know them all.
Maybe. You never know. Jen needs
Always
all that.
losing, always learning new things every day, Vanessa. Always.
There's always room to learn.
Yep. So
Yep.
feel free to share.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
He's going to vend with me again this coming January. And I taught him something. He's like, seems like you sold a lot off your hand. Mm-hmm. He
A lot
didn't,
off your hand.
he just did a little, like a handful of them, but the kids interacted more with me. I'm more loud and kind of out there, and he's just kind of quiet and more reserved, and I think that's kind of what brought people over to the table. Oh, look at the loud person over there, let's go check it out.
Something's exciting, right?
Yep.
Okay. So I need to have them out, and they need to be able to hold them.
And I would never hand an animal, back to one of the questions about biting, I would never hand an animal to somebody that I knew personality wise couldn't do it. Like all my animals I had out, I know their temperaments very well. Yeah. And there's a couple of them that they're like, I'm really liking this one. I'm like, nah, I don't think that's going to be a good fit for your, for your family, because she's a little bit difficult, needs a little bit more work on her hands, being able to be held.
Okay. Which show is it that you're doing in January?
Again, it's going to be the Pomona one.
Same one?
Super show, yeah.
So let me ask you.
Okay.
Go ahead. Sorry, Joe.
I said I won't be there for that one.
No,
you'll already be in Missouri by then.
Yeah. So my question, do you put everything out on the table, or do you kind of like just only a certain amount and kind of keep some?
I was very selective on what I took.
Okay.
I did take some higher line stuff, which nobody even bothered to look at, which is fine because I really wasn't worried about it. That's more of a morph market target with your higher lines. But just moving like a lot of pet onlys, some of those out. Retired breeders, moved some of those girls out.
Yeah.
Pushed those guys out to good homes.
Good.
And I didn't have enough stock, so they were pretty much all out. I had a case that held 15, and then I had my pet onlys in like little cups on the side, but I had them pushed back, so nobody pluck them right off the end of the table.
That makes sense. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking I might be a little reserved about how many I actually put on the table.
Yeah.
Just to start, kind of go from there.
Yeah.
Like Derek, my buddy Derek's he's always really cool every time he can help out. They have affordable display cases. So this is one of the things that I noticed right away when I started building and designing racks is that I have a lot of scrap. So as long as I don't stick to a specific design initially, I can build, display cases out of scrap very easily. You almost just put them together and cut holes in it and drop the things down in there. But I like your idea, Vanessa, of, like initially I was thinking about the whole biting thing. but you kind of do want to be interactive with the crowd. Otherwise, you're not going to move, animals. And
Right.
especially in an economy like what we have right now, I know a lot of breeders are struggling to get their leopard geckos off, out of their homes and their shops. So um, there was a topic that you had brought up to me, and you wanted to talk about. Now, you currently have an animal that has a hernia.
An umbilical. I'm assuming it's umbilical hernia, although it doesn't look like it's where the yolk sac would have been. It's closer to the bottom, and it's opened, but she's eating, drinking, pooping, active, spicy, yells at me when I go in there.
Yeah.
So it just kind of.
So with that, there are I think it's a couple types. There's two types of hernias that I know that there are, and I have a question for anybody live in the audience right now. When it comes to what she's describing, it potentially isn't an umbilical. Did I say that right? Umbilical
Yeah.
hernia. So that means obviously the organs are protruding from the bottom of the skin, so it's like open skin. So it could very well be that. Does anybody have any experience with that? And do they retract in, or is it something where you need? I know surgery is usually needed if it's pushed out by an adult, but I'm wondering if anybody happens to know if those ones with babies, as they grow, maybe go back in on their own, or if it's a bad day. Um, the two types, because you had asked me to look into it, are abdominal and umbilical.
Yep.
Um, Abdominal happens because of the costomic cavity lining is on a leopard gecko. It's already going to be very thick, and so some of them genetically, from what I understand, have it a little thinner than normal. And so when they hatch, and that umbilical doesn't come off correctly, it pulls and it rips the skin. Once that happens, the organs come out. I believe that you can take them in and have them put in with surgery, but they say that the veterinarians have a lot of trouble with it because of how thin the lining is to begin with. So I don't know if there's other ways to keep the stomach together. That's something I couldn't find.
Okay.
Uh, but let's see. The other one is when it's internal and bulging, but also it could be external, and that's obviously the umbilical one, where the organs come out of the body. And those animals, I've had two of them over the years, and those animals typically do pass. You can try to give them the best care that you can. I'm not by any means an expert on, abdominal hernias. I know that surgery is usually needed. Um, some people have the opinion that if it's the one that is external for the umbilical area, that you put the animal down. But you can see a hernia in an animal. Even as an adult, you'll see a bulge on the bottom. You're kind of like, why do you have a beer belly on you? That happens when you have loose substrate a lot of times.
Mhm.
Sand. So they'll eat the sand with the food, and when they try pooping, they push too hard or whatever, and it pops something inside. That won't protrude through the skin because the skin is still. They're older now, right? So that skin's still tight. But it's called a costomic lining, costomic cavity lining. That will burst and it'll go into the skin section and protrude forward. So those animals usually are going to live. Again, you could take those in for surgery. They're a little bigger, so they have an easy time repairing them. I don't know what that costs. And but those ones, I would definitely not say. Probably the popular opinion would be to call the animal. I don't know if you'd call any of them, to be honest. You might give them an opportunity to see if it retracts as a baby. It might go back in. Does yours look like it's going back in? How long have you had it this way?
She's about 5 days old, and she's seems to be doing okay. I mean, there's no bleeding, no oozing. It looks like a little piece of fat, maybe,
Okay.
and maybe that's what's holding everything in. But there's no like intestines dropping out or anything, or I, definitely would have figured something additional
Yeah.
out. But
Is it shrinking?
um, she's still really little. Hard to say. I wouldn't say it's gotten.
Fine.
And I wasn't here when she hatched out either. I was
Okay.
out of town. So I'm kind of waiting and watching, but she's not lethargic. She's running around. She's on top of her hide. She's pooping okay. So kind of just
Okay.
waiting it out.
Yeah. Having the idea online, I did some reading on it, that they have a predisposition to a thin costomic cavity lining. I don't know know how I felt about that information. If anybody has any expertise on that matter, like leave it in the comments. You can always email us at it's info@geckoversepodcast.com and send us anything. I wonder if it could be genetic. Some people say it is. I just don't know. Like, how do you know? And then if you do you not pair the parents anymore to
Right.
anybody or just to each
Well,
other?
I will say she did hatch very early because she wasn't supposed to come out until probably this week or next week.
Okay.
So the sibling's not out yet, so I don't have like a comparison, like how did the sibling come out versus this one. But she came out about 2.5, 3 weeks early.
That's interesting. And she survived. Like, she's alive and
Yep.
eating.
Yep.
How much does she weigh? Do you typically weigh them or?
She's about 6 grams. She's kind of small.
Wow, that's what do you weigh them right when they hatch?
Usually I do, but this one I wasn't here.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's likely gained some weight though. So 3 weeks early, and she's got good weight for 5 days.
Yeah, she does. I mean, like I said, she seems to be thriving. So I haven't made any,
Okay.
what am I going to do with her? I'm just going to kind of let her be and see. Maybe it'll close up.
Yeah, that would be really neat to know. I'll actually reach out to you and ask you probably in a few weeks how she's looking, what's going on, and if everything works out, I'll wherever we're at live, I'll mention the animal and let them know, because it's all growing. I actually don't have the answer to whether or not it'll go back in.
Right. I mean, I've never seen it, so I don't know.
Okay. I've seen it twice, maybe 3 times. I think twice. It feels like 2 times. I've never had one as an adult do the internal bulging, but I have seen it with babies, and it's usually the umbilical one is the one that I deal with. Now, I do have my own question. I don't know if anybody has seen this. Have you seen the one where there's like a sack that looks like it belonged inside the animal? It comes out attached to the umbilical area. The umbilical area doesn't have an issue.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like this glob sack just didn't grow or didn't get absorbed. Or anybody seen that?
I had 2 this season like that.
Yeah, they always like fall off.
Yeah, and they're fine, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't know what it is either.
And
I think I would have said
the yolk sac.
that's what I thought at first, but it's kind of weird looking. It almost looks like, I want to say tissue. Joe, I sent you a picture of it. But that's almost what it looked like. But it came off, so I'm assuming it has to be something with the yolk sac, because both of them, they're thriving and they're doing really well. One was early in the season, and one was, I think, within the last 4 weeks hatched out. So both are fine.
Yeah, the animals are usually always fine. I took note of the ones from 2022 because I bred them this year, and they were fertile, so there was no problems there. I just noticed it's like a little ball of, it looks like flesh, something that could have been another animal maybe, or
Reese thinks it's a yolk too. I'm sorry, Vanessa. Go ahead.
You think maybe it could have been a possible twin that didn't develop?
it could have been. I had twins last year for the first time. It was funny. I was working, and at my shop in the back room, we put together a reptile room at that old building. And Samantha came running, texting, like, "Hey, Dad, you need to get in here." And so I got in there, and she's like, "This one popped out, and this one came out backwards," and they were both 1 grain. It was kind of cool, but they both died. They weren't old enough. I think they were in the egg, and they were just getting tight. So one of them worked its way out, and the other one was forced out, and neither one made it. So we tried. They were real small. I would love to have, because I think I'd track every single move they made, like every single thing they did, photos week by week, just to see how, twins develop.
Right.
Reese had some twins too,
Yep.
he said, this
From
year,
his
which I
cycle.
remember seeing. Yeah.
It'd be really neat if he was on the show so we could ask him about it.
He's
Reese,
trying. He's working on it.
Right. Reese, if you do get back in here, I would like to know if they're doing okay, or if you're in the comments. He's in the comments.
And how much smaller they are compared to a regular hatchling too.
Yeah. So, your animal it's got to look like there's a tear, like in the stomach, right? Like and then it's just coming right out.
Yeah, it's like by the base of the tail area.
Okay.
So you don't think it's coming from the vent, like you can see
It's
the
kind
vent.
of down by the vent, but she can still poop. It's like just above the vent.
Okay.
I think the
I wonder if
only
that's some kind of prolapse.
yeah
No,
the
because
only,
it's opened. Like I can
Yeah.
kind of gently take my finger and push it back in a little bit.
Interesting.
maybe the Australian vet can help. And if
Maybe.
he does, we should put together a small segment where you hop on and educate us what happened because you're qualified to. So that'd
Yeah,
be cool.
I might take her in this week just to see what she says. Oh, they were
Oh, he's
dead and
dead in
going.
the egg. Yeah, I couldn't get mine to live either. I tried. Um, vending, I did have one question. You did your first one, you said in January?
Yeah,
Did you have any jitters any first time?
I did. It was nerve wracking, not knowing what to expect. It was a
You end
lot
up
of
being,
swarms of people. Yeah,
you did all right. Do you have any tips, anything that you learned or thought you might do differently because of thievery, anything like that?
definitely. I got a case from the January to the June show. I did buy a case. The rest of them I kept back. Interaction with your customers is your number one seller.
Don't sit the entire time.
I didn't sit not a 1 second, and I didn't even
Nope.
eat. I was like, I'm starving.
It
Should
is
have
such
said
a turn off
would have
for
ran and grabbed
people.
you food.
Yeah.
Right.
First day I wore flip flops. Don't do that. You
Your
better
feet are
put
gonna
your
hurt.
panties on.
Oh, you're killing me. I love flip flops. I don't
My
wear
No,
them.
when
feet
I
are
used to vend,
hurting.
yeah, when I used to vend before, I never sat. I
Yep.
stood the entire day because it's a turnoff. A lot of people they see you sitting, they're not going to
They
come and
just
approach you.
go right by.
You're not interested. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
So
My dad went with me day 2. My stepmom went with me day 1, and he by far is. I told him, you better mark your calendar for January. You better go with me.
Yeah.
a big help, I assume.
He sold 12 of those 17 himself.
Nice. Yeah,
Oh,
definitely take him again.
Yep.
I'm
So
you
bringing
know,
my 16-year-old, so fingers crossed. She used to
yeah,
do vending shows with me before, and is great. So I think she'll be fine.
one thing for vendors, if you have friends that are there, like when I'm there and I'm not vending, and I don't know if other people are similar to me, but you got all the time in the world, and you have to walk between tables and shake hands with everybody, and you want to, spend some time. Um, One of the things that probably would be fine is if you just asked one of us that are walking around to go grab you something to eat, and
yeah,
here's $2, find me some pizza. Like I wouldn't have minded that at all. Like I don't know, because we're all in this together, and I'm not vending. So if I happen
yeah.
to buy and I got your $10 in my pocket, I could bring you some food. Steven wants to know if he can hire your stepdad.
For
And my
next
dad, no, he's not. He's gonna be in Arizona next week. I
Did you
want to
hear that,
go.
Steven? She says that she would like to be arrested for no reason.
Hey, that's not what I said.
Said no.
That's not what I said. That was quick.
Steven knows it's hard to leave your booth too, because when I
Is it
went to go
really?
see him, when I went to go see him, he went to go see me, and both of
Yeah.
our booths were empty. His was empty. I don't even think they were there yet. And then I had my dad over there, and then finally we seen each other.
Yeah. I actually went over. I was talking to Micah, and I felt like we were having a good conversation. And she had a lot of customers at her table, which is really neat. She was just super popular there, and so she kept getting yanked over. And she was like, "Sorry, I'll talk to you later." And I'm like, "Yep."
Yeah, same thing.
So
Yeah,
it's neat to talk to everybody. Whereas it's just, yeah, you guys are all there. You're busy. You got to interact with your people. Vanessa, I know you're tight for time today, and Riys is having his technical difficulties. You have some appointment to get to, so
I pushed it back like a half hour, so we're okay right now.
wonderful. I want to make
Yeah,
sure that I obviously let you go when it's time to go.
yeah.
Um, So you got over to Steven's table though. Did you talk to Angel at all? And
I did. Angel saved my butt Friday night.
How's that?
I left my display keys on the table.
Oh,
and
really?
had already left and went home, and
Wow.
so he grabbed them and moved them for me and put them off to the side. Because
Cool.
again, you don't want those to go missing. The animals weren't there yet, but the keys were.
Yeah. Copies to keys can be made, and then that night they can do whatever.
Yep.
He's Angel's a really cool dude. I just started talking to him recently. He's an electrician, so we've got a lot in common. He's working on a ventilation project right now, I believe, and he was asking me some questions about that. But he's a really cool dude. As soon as I can, we are going to reschedule him. I want to talk photography with that guy because I know nothing about photography.
Yeah, that's going to be a good topic because that's a struggle. Like, how do you get him to sit still?
I've been struggling so bad, Vanessa. It's unreal. I get like some great ones every now and then. That's why I don't post so much.
Yep. That's a struggle. I think everybody probably struggles with the same thing. They're running away.
Yeah. I know that Samantha has recently started to use more natural lights. She does still use the ring lights for like an overhead.
Mm-hmm.
When it's cloudy out, you have that natural diffuser, and I think she either keeps her hand over the top of them, or she uses a shipping round box, and then or container, and then you have your camera ready and you start focusing it. And don't get me wrong, I'm not there the whole time, so I am sort of just thinking I know what I saw.
Right.
But you remove the lid, the animal's kind of in shock that it was there, now it's not, and you start snapping photos. I don't know if that can be helpful to anybody. Probably not, but I'm not the best photographer, so Angel's definitely going to get hit up for photography lessons on here.
Right. That's going to be a good one.
But being a perfectionist, I can definitely understand how sometimes you're like, this photo is not good enough,
Yeah.
It probably is. It's probably perfect.
Jen, I'm sorry, Joe.
You're working on learning photography right now, and you just got yourself a new camera, right?
Yes. So I ended up picking up the Canon T7.
Okay.
So I'm playing with that.
Riys has a question.
Yeah. That's just before we get off the whole. I mean, we're already off of it, but he wanted to know if you needed a permit for vending in Cali.
Yes.
Okay.
You do.
For San Bernardino County, your permit is actually free.
Oh, really?
Yep.
With Pomona, I think you just missed San Bernardino County. You're at the bottom.
Well, my home address is San Bernardino.
Oh, okay.
So I got lucky and didn't have to pay for it.
Right here from law enforcement.
He says, do we do it? Oh.
Oh, man.
All right. Well, we are all out of topics for today's show. Vanessa, again, thank you very much. I'm sure Angel thanks you too. He was ready to go. And you definitely bailed us out, especially because we were abandoned by Riys, who I thought was my really good friend, but apparently not. So you are a blessing. Thank you so much. Jen, do you have anything that you'd like to say to Riys on behalf of Gecko?
I'm a little disappointed. Yeah, we were really counting on him to be here. We do appreciate that he got you on, Vanessa, though. Thank you for sure.
Yes, he did do that.
And I hope we can chat some more outside of here. So
absolutely, I always love talking geckos.
Yeah, me too.
Jen actually has a really great idea, just kind of last thing, for a girls' night kind of a thing. And
just us girls chatting.
I think that's a really good idea too. Maybe Vanessa can help you with that.
Yeah.
In the future.
Get a group of us girls, us breeders, and just chat. So.
Yeah.
Yep. And no matter what, Riys can't be a part of girls' night.
No.
He's going to be, what?
He needs to take his rubber ducky and just chill in his bathtub.
Yeah. No, thank you so much for bailing us out and for coming on. We don't like to cancel on the crowd, so it's been a great hour. If you guys don't already know, Vanessa is Sacred Heart Leopard Geckos. She's got a really neat new logo on there. You guys should go look through some of her stuff on Instagram. Definitely like a lot of her photos. Give her some follows, and that's it. Again, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to get on here. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
love to have you back soon.
Absolutely.
Peter's here just in time.
I know. That's what I said too.
All right, guys. We'll see you in a little bit. Vanessa, stay on for just a moment, please.
All right.